Hey, my name is Guitar Gabby. Welcome to Studio Stories. I want to talk to you all a little bit today about some of my journey, the ups and the downs. Starting a business in the music industry, especially as a Black woman, is extremely difficult. I think existing in the world as a Black person is very difficult, but there are so many great things, so many amazing things that come out of the hardships, so many positive lessons that you can take that only make you better. You meet great people along the way and you learn not to make the same mistakes twice. So in 2016, I started playing for Diamond from Crime Mob, and she needed a band, and so I thought it would be an excellent opportunity to do something that I had always been passionate about, which was to play music. I had been playing guitar for quite some time by then, but I had never really played with anybody else. I'd started a couple of bands over the years of my own, but I didn't really have an opportunity to play for anybody else until I started playing for Diamond. So I worked really hard with her management, put together an all-Black female band, and from there, that's really where the journey began. I don't know, it was an interesting experience working with a record label and working with managers in the industry. That was my first experience. And one thing that I learned early on is that people who are not musicians or don't know how to work with musicians don't know how to manage musicians. There are a lot of things like, backline or, you know, per diems or, just what type of rehearsal we need to have. Is there going to be a DJ, not a DJ? Things like that are very, very, very important when you're managing artists and managing musicians in particular. So that's really where my interest was piqued when it came to management in the music industry. Simultaneously, when we would be playing for Diamond as Girl Code, I started the Tulips Band, and initially it was the same group of people. It was the same 4 women that were in the band with me when I was playing with Diamond, but I quickly learned that that wasn't the model that I believe God had on my heart. That wasn't the model that was going to be the most sustainable for the vision that I had for the business and for the band. And so I turned it into a collective, and so now, fast forward to 2020, there are over 15 women, all Black women worldwide, who look different, play different instruments, identify differently, the whole nine, that are all over the world, and we're all here for the same reason, which is to represent pussy power and also show to the world that Black women are diverse. We don't look like one thing, we don't sound like one thing, we don't just do one thing. We're extremely talented. We have a very interesting skill set. We can do a lot of different things and we can multitask, and at the end of the day, we get it done. So I wanted to do my part in the industry to showcase that. And the other reason why I started the band is because growing up, I didn't really see a lot of Black women, if at all, really, in magazines, in any type of marketing, on stages. I didn't really learn about Black women in music until I was an adult at my undergrad. And that's when I learned about Sister Rosetta Thorpe and a lot of other amazing women of color, specifically Black women, that paved the way before me for me to be able to do what I'm doing now. So I always like to pay honor to those women who came before me to do a lot of work in order to create a path in the industry for women like me. So I went to Spelman College, started my undergrad. I majored in environmental science. First I came in biology, and if you're a Spelmanite, then everybody knows that you come in as biology or psychology, and then you switch to your actual major, unless your actual major is biology or psychology, but nobody does that. So, but I switched to environmental science, and that's really where I started to take an interest in how I could be a part of helping humankind in the world and helping the earth itself and animals. I was never really interested in being like, a scientist with goggles and shit in the lab. Didn't really want to do that. But I did want to figure out how I could give back to the world, give back to the earth. And so I did a lot of work in environmental science, did a lot of research at Callaway Gardens, and did a lot of different research projects. And that's really where my passion for wanting to help others, fueled with my passion to help animals, really came to fruition. And so being there, I met a lot of amazing people along the way. That's really where I learned a lot of lessons in life about how people that you think are your friends are not your friends. And I was in a lot of different bands. I wrote a lot of great music through this time period. My first year in particular was very difficult because I was in a very toxic relationship. Looking back on it, I realized that it was toxic. But when you're in something, it's easy to think that it's fine. It's just he's having a bad day or she's having a bad day right now. But there are some times when, when people show you their true colors, you got to believe them the first time. And, to this day, I mean, I definitely think that people can change. And he's an amazing guy now. But, in that time, it just wasn't right for me and it wasn't right for him. But while I was going through that really serious depression for about a year or so, I wrote all of the music that I've been able to fast forward to 2020 that's been able to take me on tour around the world, that's been able to get me into really big festivals. And it's the songs that you all know, like The Lost One and The Deadpool and Die Today, and all of those songs from my albums and my EPs were birthed out of that period of me figuring out, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. That's when I realized that I had a gift. But yeah, that's when I realized that I had a gift, and I figured, that was something that I could use to connect to other people that felt like me. I had a very, very rough childhood, being in middle and high school. I was never really too good to be with, the white kids that listened to metal and rock and roll, and that's what I was into. I was playing guitar and, teaching myself how to play by listening to Nirvana and, a whole bunch of other stuff, but I never really fit in per se, and it really affected me until maybe like 7 years ago. And, looking back on it, I'm glad that I went through it, because I didn't realize how many other young girls out there that were going through the same thing that I was going through. And that's one of the reasons why I dumped my all into the Tulips Band. Money, time, energy, everything. There was a period of time where I was touring full time. I was managing 2 different clients full time. I was in law school full time. I was working, I was doing a lot, and it was too much, but my passion to represent for Black girls that felt like I did, and still sometimes do feel like I did, is really what fueled me to say, I gotta keep going. I have to keep going. I gotta keep going. And even now, like, I was going into, developing my own business, it's very difficult because it's a very lonely journey. And you lose people along the way. There are a lot of amazing women that have been in the band over the years, and I lost those relationships because a lot of times people who are in your circles are not going to always understand what you're doing. They're not going to always get it. A lot of people in this industry, and I would say the industry as a culture, is very money driven. And a lot of people just want, the money and the fame, but there's a very small sector of people who do it because of the passion and the fire that they have inside of them. And when those two things don't align, when those two things don't mesh, then, friendships and bridges can sometimes be burned intentionally or not intentionally. But, that's been part of the journey, with the Tulips Band. And I never really talk about it because people, on social media see Guitar Gabby and, you see what I'm doing. But, the other side of being a boss is, like, the shit is lonely sometimes. But, I get up every day. I'm thankful for what God has given me. I'm thankful for just having breath in my body to even have a passion. Because there are a lot of people out there that don't even have passions because they just don't know, what life means to them. So I just want to use my voice and my platform as much as I can to connect with those people and to show people that, it doesn't really matter who you are or what you look like or, where you come from or how you identify. We're all humans at the end of the day. And being able to connect with someone through my music is really what is payment enough for me. It's not even really about the money. That part's important because that's how I keep the business running. But, I'm the type of person where I'll take the clothes off my back and give all of my money, to my bandmates, to, studio time and all that kind of stuff. If it means that the mission of connecting with other people and representing for young Black girls out there who are watching me, if it means that they're able to get something out of that and they wake up feeling, more positive than they did before, if it means that they picked up an instrument that they didn't think that they could, but they saw somebody else doing it, to me, that is my payment. And so, that's just, I don't know, it's a really tough journey, but like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of beautiful moments. And for me, being able to connect with the young girls that we teach at different girls' rock camps around the world, just to see the smile on their faces, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, because I look back to when I was their age and I didn't have a girls' rock camp to go to. There are other young Black girls and Black boys out there that we didn't have a lot of people that look like us to open up a Guitar World magazine and see our face right there, on the front page or, in a full story. But, being able to see how so many different people out there in this industry have passion and drive to change the way that the music industry looks and runs and is what is beautiful to me. And I don't know. That's really what my life is all about. I don't know. I plan on I'm going to keep going. It's some days I wake up and I don't really want to do anything. Some days I wake up and I'm like, man, nobody's even listening to this shit because the Instagram algorithms are trash and nobody knows how to use them except for Instagram employees. But then I think about, when I walk into a store and, someone says, hey, I follow you on Instagram. I heard an interview that you did that I didn't think nobody even heard the shit because nobody viewed it from what I saw. But, or going through the airport and someone's like, hey, I love Die Today. Like, it really got me through a period where I was going through what I feel like you're singing about. I can hear the emotion. I can hear, what you're bringing through the guitar and through the lyrics. And it really spoke to me. That's what keeps me going every day. It's not even about the social media. That's an excellent tool. And mastering how to use that to your advantage is very important. But, for me, it all starts with the passion. And when you have passion for something in life, then it helps to fuel you continuing to go. Because one thing I will say in this industry, in any industry, but especially in the music industry, being a woman and being a woman of color at that, you got to have consistency. And for me, one of the ways I've developed consistency is figuring out my system. And my system consists of, me doing yoga every day and eating right, watching what I put in my body, the type of things that I put in my body, the type of people that I connect with, the type of people that I have around me in my inner circles. I'm very selective. I've grown to be very selective. But, all of that kind of stuff definitely plays a really big role in what you do and what you're able to give back to the world. But I definitely want to encourage anybody out there, you have something special. You are special. And it doesn't really matter, what was in the past. Use those things to your benefit, get through them, talk to a therapist, whatever you got to do. But, don't stop, though. Just keep going, because if I could tell everybody out there who, DMs me or comments or whatever, if I could tell y'all how much seeing those things and feeling your love and energy fuels me each and every day, it does. And I think a lot of times people, me included, feel like, nobody sees this, but when I get those messages and when I see those comments and, people buy little stickers and stuff like that off the website, it really does fuel me, because it feels like I'm giving something to somebody else. And it feels like when you keep doing that and reaching back to the next person behind you or to the next generation, that's how you link arms with people. And I feel like humanity needs a lot more of that, especially in this time. So, yeah, that's my story. Thanks so much for watching. This is Studio Stories. My name is Guitar Gabby. I'm the front woman, founder, and manager of the all-Black female rock collective, the Tulips Band. Follow me on all social media at Guitar Gabby, at the TX Lips Band. Pussy is power. Also want to say thank you to my endorsement reps who have believed in what I'm doing, and they stand behind me. ESP Guitars, Ernie Ball, EMG Pickups, Steve Clayton Picks, and there's a couple of others, but those are really the ones who have really stood behind what I'm doing and have supported me 110%. So I really appreciate you all, and thank you for joining. I hope y'all enjoy that and rock out.